how do I even start this? Oh my God. This is crazy. We finished the last stream and I'm like, all right, I'm feeling, this is a big situation going on. And then 20 minutes, 30 minutes right later, I'm reading this headline. Gina Carano is no longer a part of Lucasfilm. She has been let go from the company. She is no longer going to be a part of any future Star Wars projects. And we all know this is about what she posted literally in the last 24 hours about now. In a statement obtained by IO9, a Lucasfilm spokesman said the following: Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media post degenerating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. This news comes after a day in which the hashtag Fire Gina Carano trended on Twitter for hours the night before the actress shared an anti-Semitic story on her Instagram. It was soon deleted, but many fans captured it and shared it on social media. That, of course, came after months of complaints about Carano's online presence, including a mocking COVID mask mandates, spreading conspiracies about the United States elections, liking posts, basically disparaging Black Lives Matter movement and mocking pronouns. And if we all remember the last season of The Mandalorian, this was a problem when they were releasing season 2 of The Mandalorian, but some people were speculating that the way her character just kind of had like a mute end, we could have a way to not use her in future projects. And here we are. She is no longer part of Lucasfilm. If you guys remember Kessel Run's transmission, they had a scoop saying that Bo-Katan and Cara Dune were going to be in a spinoff series in the future, and that's no longer happening because she just lost her gig, and it's because of a lot of reasons. It's like, why are we really surprised? I'm kind of shocked in the sense of Lucasfilm really took immediate action. Like this happened within a week. This Fire Gina Carano trend has been going on for a very, very long time, but this truly surprised me because she posted this stuff on a Tuesday, and now Wednesday night she's gone. She's no longer involved in Star Wars, and we all knew there was going to be a lot of plans for her in the future. I mean, there were so many things happening. Rangers of the New Republic, Book of Boba Fett is coming out. What else do we have? The Ahsoka Tano series, but we all expected her to be in Rangers of the New Republic. That's what kind of the rumor was, because she looked like she would work with Bill Burr's character Mayfield, even though he died per se. Valkyrie King says dissenting opinions are not allowed to exist. Yeah, it's touchy because now it's like it's not just having a different opinion. I said this in the last stream, and this is kind of what some people have pointed out, is when Pedro Pascal basically called former President Donald Trump Hitler, and then called all the Trump supporters Confederate supporters and Nazis. It was like, well, 70 million people voted for that guy, and Pedro Pascal didn't really get any trouble for it, and that's because, well, he's a big character, but no, he deleted it pretty fast, and he doesn't have a major history of doing this like Gina does. Gina just kind of seemed to, said in my last stream, of like want to push the envelope a little bit. She really wanted to upset some people, and this is what happens. I mean, you bite the hand that feeds you, and when you're in Hollywood, I don't know, they don't really like differing opinions, but they definitely don't like a liability like this. And I think that's what this ultimately boiled down to. It's not that she said one or two things that were just not tolerated in the Lucasfilm bubble and the Hollywood bubble. It's that she continued to put stuff out there that I guess was anti-mask, anti-establishment. We put up in the last stream of things she was liking, saying that there's no systematic racism in America, and that's something a lot of people believe right now, mainly with the Black Lives Matter movement going on. Let's see what else we have. We had her for Twitter, I think. Nope. All right, I'll get it in a second. So yeah, Gina Carano, gone. I think I have a montage I can play of her real quick. I really wonder how this is going to affect the future of the Mandalorian series. Like, how is she going to be involved with that? How is she going to be involved with the overall story of Mandalorian? Not the lore, but season 3 was postponed because of Boba Fett. We're supposed to get that sometime in 2022 now, and it makes you wonder, what are they going to do with her character? Are they going to write her off? That she just die into nothing? I'm shocked. I'm having a hard time like thinking about this. Let me see if I can find some footage when she was training. I think a lot of people are going to point to the guilty by association situation that she has. She's been doing streams with people who lean to the fandom menace side. She's been liking that stuff. She's been liking stuff people find controversial. There was the trans rights problem that she had where she put the beep bop boop thing, and a lot of people took that as an insult. A lot of people took that as her mocking trans, and it just didn't do well for her. I pray to God this doesn't get copyrighted. It probably will, so we're just not gonna. But I mean, do you guys remember when the narratives of this is so crazy? You guys remember when Cara Dune came out as a character? The narrative about her was, oh, she is an SJW. She is too powerful. She is a Mary Sue, and that completely changed now. Now she is a rabid Trump supporter. She is controversial. It seems like she just shot her career down the drain within less than a year's time. Not in future Hollywood movies, not in future roles, but with Lucasfilm and Star Wars, 100%. She can't come back. Maybe if she puts an apology out, but she should have done it a little sooner, I guess would be the argument. And someone had to have talked to her behind the scenes. Some people are speculating that she knew this was going to happen, and this was already kind of happening, and she just started putting out stuff like shit posting. I was speculating she was just trying to troll people. I didn't think it was going to get to this. I'm really shocked. Wow. But what do you guys think? I'm going to look at some of the comments here in a second. We'll put up some good old B-roll of the Mandalorian itself. Turn this off. Yeah. So she was introduced to chapter 4 of season 1, and her last episode is going to be chapter 16 of season 2. She's gone. She is gone. Jeez. Colin W says, why is mocking anyone okay, trans or not? That's a good point. And I was saying that it seems like her beep bop boop thing was, she was saying that she was trying to stop. She's not transphobic with spreading your lies. I'm not saying she's transphobic. I'm not trans. I've said before, I'm learning day by day about the community and the struggles, and what she said and the way she apologized about it was basically that she did not want to be bullied into submission by people who were telling her to put pronouns in her bios and whatnot. And she said that they were calling her ugly, she needs to die and get fired and all that, calling her fat, just being bullies. And she didn't want to get bullied into having a certain opinion. It just seemed like all this stemmed from her not saying anything about anything, really. And she slowly started doing, let's be honest, more right-wing stuff, more conservative-leaning stuff. And then I think it was the timing, too. I think she was doing it right when everybody was in the lockdown, and there's a lot of controversy surrounding everything. Everyone's tense because of an election. It just was the perfect storm. Super chat, he says, to the people defending her political views, it was starting to not be about politics anymore, just blatant hate speech and ridicule of the innocent. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, what I would say for her is when it came to people saying like she's a Trump supporter, it's like there was nothing she did that was openly, not openly. There's nothing she said like verbally, hey, I endorse Donald Trump for president or anything like that. And a lot of people pointing at the post she put on Twitter a few days after the election. It was on November 5th, where she said we should have a clear election on who who won. We should know who won. Everything needs to be transparent. It needs to be fair. We don't want it to be stolen or anything. And, since Trump was saying his election was stolen and we have evidence that it wasn't, people are now saying that was her endorsing Trump. And even though it wasn't openly saying anything towards Trump or towards Biden, it's the timing, it was everything at the right moment. And seems like she kind of knew that. Seems like she fed into that, led into that. It seems like you can't say this was a point of ignorance. It's not like she didn't know what she was doing. I said in the last stream that it seemed like she wants the attention from this. She wants the drama, and she wants to be a provocateur, really. And I'm fine with that in some sense, but I don't know why we're all surprised by it either at this point. The most wasted potential they had for the show. Wow, that fucking hit to the Star Wars community and the fan base is heavily disappointing, and I'm very much livid. I really, the Star Wars community is going to have this isn't going to help anything, if we're being honest. Like this whole like Civil War at Lucasfilm narrative, do you know how much that's going to be driven up? Do you know, oh my God, this next week is going to be crazy. I thought the Star Wars news cycle was going to be dry for a while. Little did I fucking know. Look at all this. This is going to be something that changes everything. And I said that I didn't really agree with everything she was putting out. She was liking stuff that just, you could tell were edgy. That's what it felt like. It was edgy, and it just didn't help anything. And when you're a celebrity, when you have that big influence on fans, on people, people are going to look at what you say very carefully. And if you know that and you feed into the fire, it's going to bite you eventually. It's going to burn your hand. And oh, man, this is crazy. Why did you delete your last stream? I got copyrighted for the what was it? I think it was like the prequel part I showed. It was the specific scene was like Anakin talking to Obi-Wan or something, and so it was that Chinese company. So I'm not messing with it again. I'm sorry about that, but I deleted that like 20 minutes ago, and then I checked my DM and I get a message of her being fired. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. And then I, of course, go check Twitter, and I checked the actual website, IO9, and she's gone. She's completely gone. Star Wars community is now filled with SJWs. Well, dude, everyone's gonna be talking about this for a little bit. Is Star Wars community or not? This is gonna be a topic in the movie news, maybe even politics, and maybe not a lot of political figures, but some of them, because it's gonna be like, we let her go because of her political opinions. But I think in light of her last post, we can't say that. Her last post about equating the Jews during the Holocaust and the treatment of the neighbors, allowing things to get that bad, and saying that the government turned neighbor against neighbor because of their, well, in that case, it was the religious views. The post was equating that with political differences. And a lot of people found that extremely offensive and ignorant and just kind of distasteful. And she deleted it. Yes, it took a while to be deleted, but she didn't apologize for it. And I think that didn't help things either. And I don't know what to say. I feel extremely. I feel bad for her in the sense that she lost this great opportunity, but sometimes you're just like, what was going to happen. Yeah, Alex says she compared Trump supporters to the Jews during the Holocaust. She didn't specifically say anything about Trump supporters. She didn't specifically name Trump supporters or Republicans. She said political differences. But it's a bad comparison. Like the message, we all kind of get the message, and it's like, okay, you had a decent intent, but you really gave it in a bad way. Like comparing a religious belief, your religion is something that you have from birth. For a lot of people, it's not a choice. You're born into the family. You're born into religion, and when you grow up, you can change that if you want. But to be a Jew, if you're trying to convert to Judaism, it's not easy. It's an extremely difficult task because they want that kind of commitment, and that's a big part of people's lives. So comparing that and the awful treatment the Jews had during the Holocaust to, what people are having with today with political differences, if you're a right-wing person like Gina, the treatment online isn't that bad compared to what the Jews had to go to in the Holocaust. I mean, it's apples and not even oranges. It's an apple in a fucking tank. It's completely different. All right. Going through the comments, I'm sorry, there's a lot of them. Trying to keep up. This really caught me out of nowhere. I'm extremely tired. I was not planning on doing this. I was doing some homework. I'm done with Star Wars. I really wonder how people in the fandom are going to react, because I think my friend Drunk 3PO was going to have Gina Carano on tonight for a charity stream, and I don't think she was on. So crazy. Darth Luft says, a big fan, bro, and why Gina getting fired? Because of her post. I'm going to go back to this right here. It's because of what she said. Fire Gina Carano. Yep, came from discussing film. I mean, wow. Okay, we got even more news. This is on the stream, right? I think so. Yeah. Oh my God, that sucks so bad. There were plans for Lucasfilm to unveil Gina Carano as the star of her own Star Wars series during the Disney Investors Day presentation. They were scrapped following Gina Carano tweets in November. Oh no. Oh my God. Bro, you... How'd you mess that up, Gina? Come on. I was such a big fan when she first got into Star Wars because I love MMA, and she fought Chris Cyborg, one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. That's a female, and she's a great fighter. She was great in The Mandalorian. I loved her character. Gina Carano. Okay, they said that. Let it go. Did it say? Okay, wow. Okay, so here's what the source is saying. They have been looking for a reason to fire her for 2 months, and today was the final straw. A source with the knowledge of Lucasfilm thinking tells The Hollywood Reporter. Carano's Cara Dune character, they spelled Cara with a K. All right, instant fan favorite. And hey, that's agreeable. It's funny because a lot of people in the fandom Minneside did not like Cara Dune, said that she was SJW, said she was a Mary Sue, and that was kind of wild because I thought everyone loved The Mandalorian season 1 and loved her character. Actor praised for bringing a calm strength to the role, but her tweets have also made her a controversial figure among the Star Wars fandom. According to sources, Lucasfilm planned to unveil Carano as the star of her own show during a December Investors Day presentation, but scrapped those plans following her November tweets. Multiple Mandalorian spinoffs are in the works for executive producers Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, including Rangers of the New Republic, which could have potentially starred Carano. That's what a lot of us were expecting. But we also, we had so many reports about her getting, and that came from the guys at the Kessel Run Transmissions, saying that she was going to get her own series with Bo-Katan, and then we heard later that it was scrapped because she was getting into some kind of hot waters, and apparently that was the case. They were looking to fire her for 2 months, and it all stemmed from what she said back in November. And I think, like we were saying, it was about her tweets for the election and most likely the mask stuff. I mean, the narrative is not for that, and oh boy, she was in some hot water from the start. So maybe she knew something was wrong the whole time. All right, I'm going through the comment section. I'm sorry, there's a lot of you guys, and that's crazy. It says the mask thing was a little too far. I think when you're at the state, like at the influence of Gina Carano, someone like Pedro Pascal, you should really, keep politics just kind of aside because it never brings anything good. Is your life better talking about politics, or is your life better avoiding it? And I think a lot of people, if you're a celebrity, would be better avoiding it. And that doesn't seem to be what they were planning on doing. Star Wars Hour says Pedro Pascal called Trump supporters Nazis. That is true, and that was unfortunate and that was bad. But he deleted it almost immediately, I believe. So that was at least better than keeping it and then kind of continuing to post that kind of stuff. I know he posted stuff against Ted Cruz a little bit, but I don't agree with that either. But he's also the star of The Mandalorian. Disney are such hypocrites, and I have defended them. Well, I mean, for me, my argument for a little bit was Gina Carano is not endorsing any political candidate or anyone politically officially. When you have someone like Mark Hamill, though, we know he's pro-Biden. He was very open that he did not like Donald Trump at all as a president. And someone like me, I'm like, hey, I don't like seeing him doing that. But, that's his opinion. It does not change my opinion about Mark Hamill. It does not change my opinion about his character, Luke Skywalker. He is still my favorite character of all time. And it was the same thing for Pedro Pascal. I didn't like that he said Trump supporters were Nazis because it's like, hey, that's a big part of America. And even though I may not agree with them politically, even though I may not vote with them, doesn't mean I'm going to say they're Nazis, because clearly we're all in the context of that with what Gina Carano was putting about the treatment of that. We know that that's wrong. So it's crazy. Matthew, thank you very much for the super chat, buddy. He says, I find it a bit interesting that certain people took issue with Cara Dune for being a SJW character, but the second Gina says something remotely conservative, she's suddenly the favorite. I do think that did not help her in the long run, because like you're saying, at first she was SJW, at first she was a Mary Sue, and then what happened? She started doing stuff like saying, hey, we should get rid of the lockdowns. She was kind of anti-SJW. She didn't really take any shit and didn't confirm with social norms and everything. And what happened was she started following those people. Ethan Van, let's call him Scammer, the Shiver. He was one of those guys who said she was SJW when her character came out in the Mandalorian series. She started associating with them. The Fire Gina Carano trend just got even bigger. And I started to say in this last stream and just in general is that the message was no longer about her being anti-bully. The message was no longer her being anti-lockdown. She wasn't spreading much for a certain cause. It was all about her at some point, and that's what it became. And she became a liability for Lucasfilm, and that sucks, because if you're a company like Lucasfilm, do you really want to take that kind of liability with an actress or an actor who's going to constantly stir the pot a little bit in a very divisive time already, where it's not great for PR? I cannot imagine the nightmare her publicist was having if they were trying to get rid of her for 2 months. I mean, I wonder who pulled that decision. And I'm confident it's Kathleen Kennedy. I wonder what the narrative is going to be about her going forward now. Time to become a Hollywood/government conformist now, because it's a new thing. You should join too, so you don't get your livelihood ruined. Well, okay, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, the left are kind of known in Hollywood, and that's known. It's a lot of it's in LA and whatnot, which it's fine. But there's still conservative filmmakers out there. There's still conservative movies, indie stuff, and Gina Carano came from MMA. So she's not used to the Hollywood standard. She's not used to, not the standard. She beats the standard. She's a beautiful woman, gorgeous lady, and she's tough because she did MMA, and she knew how to be a celebrity. A lot of people liked her from MMA when she was fighting in Strikeforce. So her going into Hollywood, being an actress, was a really big surprise, because it's like, wow, she can fight and act. Like, those are completely different careers and professions, and she's doing them both pretty well. And it just seems like all of a sudden the political stuff came out during the pandemic and during this most recent election. Wow. Fandom Menace strikes back. Yeah, this is going to be This is gonna be crazy. Oh yeah, and then Twitter also wants Rosario Dawson canceled because something about she had a trans issue where people don't like what she had to say about the trans community, and I think she has a lawsuit against her. I don't know everything about it. I'm sorry. You're working for a company. Why would you want to represent the company in a light that wouldn't? Oh, they wouldn't want you to. They're paying you after all to present yourself public through their business. Yeah, it's when you're working for a big company like Disney, you have standards to meet, and when you know they're probably leaning a little politically left, or they're one of those companies who don't really care to get too much into politics, but also don't like controversy like this. You imagine this would upset them, seeing the stuff, mainly today, the thing about the Jews. The thing about the Jews, I mean, that is something every employer would look at and go, that's rough. And if she was already the star of her own series and, this had been 3 years down the line and she's really famous because of the series she was going to get, then that's one thing, but she wasn't there yet. I can't believe she had her own series based on her. It likely was that one with Bo-Katan, and that it's completely scrapped now. I can't. That was something else. That was something they were also going to reveal at the Disney investors meeting, and that was going to be, I think, close to 10 to 11 shows that they announced in one day. I'm just sick of the woke cancel culture, man. Oh, it's gonna lead into that argument a lot. Matt Jarbo is joining me to talk about this.
Hey, what's up, man?
I'm kind of just shocked, bro. How are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm out doing deliveries right now, and like I'm just kind of like I have a free moment, and I'm like, oh my god, like because I just saw from one of I think it was a Hollywood Reporter writer that apparently Gina was supposed to have her own show.
Yeah, that's what I have up now. It's she was going to get her own series that was announced during the Disney investors meeting, and they were planning on firing her for 2 months, but just didn't know how. And this was like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, this is like, I mean, that would make sense as to why she started cozying up to the Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
Why she started hanging out with 3PO and going on with Jeremy and everything else. I mean, if anything, she might have been trying to mount some kind of Zack Snyder-like defense where you just have this massive groundswell of support that will be your vocal champions.
That kind of feeds into like the fun of the Lucasfilm war, the Civil War that they are going on. I can't imagine the narratives that are going to be.
Oh my God! Yeah,
by this, like this is going to be a crazy year now because we thought things were dying out. We were like, okay, it's kind of clear a lot of the Doomcock stuff is fake, and no Lucasfilm Civil War. We're all kind of realizing that's fake, and now it's like, oh shit, it's here. But
what about it as a civil war? I mean, like. What you have is you have a star of a show
saying that she was going to be saved by Jon Favreau. I mean, me and you know that's fake, but a lot of people.
Well, and the thing is, like, I would believe something like that. I would believe because he said that he wrote the part for her, so he created Cara Dune with her in mind, and that of course is going to be very personal to him. So I get that. However, you don't go to Hollywood, you don't work in Hollywood and tweet out anti-Semitic shit, and then expect to still keep your job.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
mainly working for a company like Disney, like the in studio, like they don't tolerate a lot of bullshit like this.
No, they can tolerate like the anti-mask stuff because she probably still wore a mask even though she just didn't like it, and they can tolerate all sorts of other stuff, like the election fraud nonsense or whatever, because all that was going to be cleared up in the courts, and we're past that essentially. But the anti-Semitism. That you just, comparing your political ideology to the plight of the Jews in World War II Germany is never going to be a good sign.
No, yeah, I liked what you said on your initial stream about it today, where it was like when you're in Hollywood, you don't mess with you don't say things about the Jews and whatnot. Anything.
And I know, but someone is like, "Oh, you're racist for saying that." And I'm like, I'm not saying it's like it's a known fact that there are a lot of people of Jewish faith who live and operate in Hollywood. This is not an unknown fact, and we still know that 6 million people. 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust. 11 million people total died in those camps. We know that. That's an established fact that people have been trying to argue with me all day as well, which is like, oh my God. How are we still in this year having those conversations? But whatever. And her then coming out, like, if she wanted to come out and say, like, I feel like I'm persecuted for my political belief, I would not fault her for saying that, to be honest with you. I might not agree with it, but I wouldn't fault her for saying it. I'm like, all right, it's kind of dumb, but that's it. But what it was is, it was just like, now it's possible that, and to give her the benefit of the doubt, because let me just be clear, I don't want her fired.
Yeah,
I'm a lefty, and I don't want her fired. I like Cara Dune. I like Gina Carano. I have forever. So I'm like, I want her to just, like, not be stupid is all I want.
And it seems like she kept pushing the envelope to not being stupid, but just kind of edgy. Like, she knew she was feeding the flames of this culture war, and that's what really grabbed this and took it further. And I think she was guilty by association. And Disney likely looked at this and said, this is a liability, because she's associating with fandom menace people who are always saying that, like, Kathleen Kennedy should be fired. They're just always constantly nagging on Lucasfilm and Disney. And hey, sometimes me and you have our criticism, but we got to give them credit where credit's due. The Mandalorian is great, and things have really improved over there. And one of the things we always said, or at least me personally, is that I don't like the public relations that Lucasfilm had with fans. Mainly after The Last Jedi, it seemed to get to really bad situations where people thought we were having Twitter battles with Lucasfilm employees. And this is kind of the similar situation where, she was kind of pushing the envelope against people who were Star Wars fans, but were also in the trans community, who were also in the LGBTQ community. I mean,
and her pushback on the thing is, like, when I looked at her, her tweets from September, where she put the beep, bop, boop, those pronouns in there. Like, and what I had said is, I'm like, she was backed into a corner. She felt backed into a corner. So she retaliated because she's a fighter. She's going to be stubborn. There's going to be ego. And this is probably the first time she's ever really felt that kind of pushback. So her reaction to it, and then she said, I talked to Pedro, and Pedro explained it to me.
So that was a good apology too, like saying, like, hey, it was like, it may come from a point of ignorance, and then she learned about it and was like, okay, hey, I'm sorry if I offended anybody.
Yeah. But that's fine. That's great. But then again, this also is leading into the release of the show, because the new season hadn't come out yet. So by this point in time, so maybe that was what it was, as well, as it was just like, she didn't want to screw up the marketing of it, or maybe she was told to, like, calm down. But if they've been wanting to fire her for, like, the last couple months and trying to figure out the best course of action to do so, and she was aware of this, I mean, I'm speculating, of course, but if she was aware of all this, that would make sense as to why, she started talking to Drunk 3PO. And I don't think Drunk 3PO is a bad guy. He's actually
Jay's great.
That I like.
Yeah, great guy.
And I'm like, and he's a nice enough guy and genuine, and I like him for that. But I mean, there was that interview that J.J. Abrams gave, I think it was to Entertainment Weekly, or maybe it was ABC or something, right before The Rise of Skywalker came out, where he mentioned the Fandom Menace by name, and that only emboldened them more. And I even know how that
they feel validated at that point.
Yeah, valid, and I even know how that whole thing came to be.
Yeah, our boy Louis Lecca.
Yeah, our boy Louis. Right, like Louis reached out to him and complained, and then that's how JJ brought it up. Which is funny to me. I think it's one of those things where you go like, the domino effect is weird. But it's like, so it's like Lucasfilm was aware of this. They're aware of all these things. I mean, look at what happened with Theory after the Pablo Hidalgo nonsense.
Oh God, both of them went towards that direction on the aisle.
And then even, what is it, Lucasfilm? The reports were that Lucasfilm and, like, Pablo had reached out to Theory directly, but he refused to talk with them. And then he's doing these streams with the Fandom Menace, and it's like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Yeah, I appreciate Lucasfilm taking action so fast. And same with Pablo with the Star Wars Theory thing, is he instantly reached out to apologize. I think it was a little stubborn and petty to not take that apology and not have the conversation. I think everyone deserves a conversation if you're, having these kind of spats and beefs, but she pushed it a little too far. And fun thing about Pedro Pascal, her co-star, I don't know if you heard, but he just got casted in HBO, The Last of Us series as Joel.
Whoa, he just got, really?
Yeah, he's Joel.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Joel's a good looking man, so Pedro fits the.
Oh man, I can't.
Crazy.
Oh, and then they got Lady Marmont to play Ellie.
Yeah,
That's gonna be
I think
sick,
so.
dude.
I think it's crazy that this comes out the exact same time as
Yeah, a little
co-star.
bit, a little bit. Well, they'd already been
Trick 'em all down.
teasing. They'd been teasing the Last of Us information. Like even I saw a report this morning from the Illuminati that was saying like Mahershala Ali is going to be Joel in the Last of Us. And I'm all like, wait a minute, I love Mahershala Ali, but I also am a huge Last of Us fan. So what's going on here?
I haven't played the second one. It was too controversial for me, so I stuck to the first one and I love it. But I know it had a good reaction for critics, and then fans were kind of split on it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's Neil Druckmann, and that's a whole other conversation. I mean, we could dive into Uncharted 4, and believe me, as much as I love that game, I have my critiques.
Yeah.
You know, about the writing and the story. But
Well,
all
what
that
do you think
aside,
about what do you think
I'm
about
excited.
Gina supposed to having her own series that's been canceled? What do you think it was that
Man, like
one?
that's what the Rangers of the New Republic was. You know,
Yeah,
like
it seemed like that.
it was clearly like a last minute name change, because that's kind of what it felt like to me. I'm like watching that review and I'm going like, that's a weird name. It just never really struck me. Like Mandalorian, Ahsoka Tano, Rangers of the New Republic. What? You know, a little bit on the odd side, but at the same time, like I enjoyed that element of season 2, that world building with the New Republic in the Outer Rim, dealing with the remnants of the Empire, clearly looking for Thrawn, how all of that's going to tie in together, especially leading into the sequel trilogy to help kind of flesh that out a bit more. And I'm like, dude, that sounds awesome. Like, yeah, give me more of that. I'm 100% on board. I feel bad for Gina because it's a nobody wants to see anybody canceled. It doesn't, it's so ridiculous that she kind of got herself in the position. It's like sometimes you got to know when to shut your mouth, and she didn't.
Yeah, it's not even like a freedom of speech thing. Like no one's accepting your freedom of speech. There's consequences to what you say when you're working for a company like Disney, like
Yeah,
Lucasfilm, who have standards they want to meet and are now in many cases the gold standard. I mean, mainly when it comes to the Mandalorian, being a Mandalorian star, that show is so perfect. It
yeah,
is like the most highly rated show right now for all the streaming platforms, and the demand for that show is crazy. I mean, it has 3-4 spinoff shows that were supposed to happen, and when
yeah.
you're
And you don't
a
want
big
to, and they don't
co-star,
want to mess with any of that. They don't want to mess with
no,
it. It's
no,
like
no, that's a great
after.
formula. Why mess with it?
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like, look, I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you because I actually do have to go because I have to wait a delivery,
Yeah.
and everything. But I don't think this is the end for Gina. If I'm being honest, look at James Gunn. Okay, James
Mhm.
Gunn, like those tweets, which he, by the way, as a side note, there was a profile in Variety, I think, in 2017, right before the release of Guardians, where those, not specifically those tweets, but his behavior in 2012 came up in the conversation, and he admitted that he was in a much different place and that he was just kind of angry at the time, and that was why, like, why he acted out like that and everything else. So he was explaining a year before he was canceled why he was in that headspace at the time. So it's
Mm.
just some information if you didn't know. However, look, they brought him back after people defended him, and I think Favreau, if I'm being honest, I think he's going to go to bat for her. But this is where she's got to get a PR team in place, and she's got to come up with like an apology to her. She can't go back to the Fandom Menace. I guess they're doing a charity stream tonight that she was supposed to be on, and she's a no-show. But I mean, that kind
Yeah.
of makes a lot of sense.
Well,
And
she could go back to the Phantom Menace, but God forbid Disney sends
yeah,
a cease and
well,
desist.
I know. I mean, if anything, at this point, everyone's telling her no, don't do it. And I have a feeling Pedro and the cast might back her up as well. And I think if the
Hmm.
cast comes out and they defend her, like the cast for James Gunn did, then I think it's going to work out better. But it's got to get past this hump. The problem, though, is anti-Semitism in Hollywood's a big no-no. Gunn's tweets were very offensive, and but it's like that was also 2018 to 2012, not 2021 to 2021. You know what I mean?
Uh,
So it's always things like that to consider. I do wish her the best. I want to see her come back in season 3. I think it's ridiculous, but she also made this bet herself.
yeah, you made your bed. Now you gotta sleep with it and lie with it. And she
Yeah.
This a lot of this is her own fault, and I don't agree with firing her. I'm a big fan of her. Actually, I'm not upset with her or anything. I'm glad she felt like she stood up for herself in a lot of cases. I just think that she started making this a little bit more about her instead of standing up to bullying or pushing a positive or good message.
It's ego, man. Ego is a motherfucker. Trust me, I know. So I get it. I wish her the best, and I want to see more of her. I will sign the petition. I'll campaign for it 100%. I just this is a warning for everybody out there. Social media is now our life. The shit you say will come back to bite you. But I do have to get going, man.
All right, thank you for coming on, man.
And we'll talk again soon. All right, man.
All right, adios, amigo. Thank you.
Have a good one, buddy.
So yeah, crazy stuff. Let's play some Mando footage of her. Let's see if we can find any updates on Twitter real quick. So Pedro Pascal is Joel. Gina Carano was fired from Lucasfilm, no longer part of the Mandalorian because of what it seems like to be exactly what she just did, what she said. What's crazy about this is we're going to get more news about this within the coming weeks and months. I'm really curious to hear her official statement on this, if she has one. Oh, blocked. Yeah, a lot of people like being blocked by Gina Carano. All right. It's really not going to load. I'm trying to go to see her Twitter. Oh, there it is. 7 hours ago, Babylon Bee podcast. Drunk 3PO, that's the guy. Jay, really cool guy. He had an interview with Gina Carano. She just kind of joined him on the stream, and it really kind of cleared the air for a lot of the things she was talking about. 7 hours ago, tweets, replies. Okay, I mean, everything that's happened has happened in the past 2 to 3 hours. So 5 hours ago. So she's been off social media, 4 hours ago. Yeah. So nothing with this. She hasn't had a statement on this, nothing to confirm it. She's not even on social media anymore right now, it seems. So that's Alex says she's probably asleep. Oh my God. Well, then she is in for a rude awakening. Jesus, she's going to get up and be like, I'm sorry, what happened? Kennedy didn't do much. Yeah, she probably may not have been the one to say, like, we got to pull her, but someone probably let her go. Maybe Disney. I mean, if you guys kept up with the UFC when it came to right when the lockdown started last year in 2020, they were going to have a fight on, I think, Yaz Island or something like that. They were going somewhere, and Disney called ESPN and said, hey, we need to shut this down. So Disney will step in if they really feel like they need to. And they did the same thing with EA when it came to the Battlefront 2 launch. Jason says, straight up Star Wars only. I just really hope that the new shows in season 3 of the Mando do not take big hits from the story and series rewrites from all of us. The community, however, is not going to be happy. Yeah, I'm nervous about how this is going to make the culture war in the Star Wars fandom. It's already really bad. I mean, things aren't irreparable, but it sucks. I mean, who would be the one firing at Lucasfilm? Well, some of it could be the producer like Colin Wilson. When it came to Josh Trank, he was the director for the Boba Fett movie. He had a falling out with one of the executive producers who was working on the Fantastic Four movie, the awful one that came out, and he kind of blames the studio execs on that being a bad movie. But he was going to make the Boba Fett movie, and he kind of went to Kathleen Kennedy and told her, I can't work with him. So it was like a he goes or I go thing. And, Kathleen Kennedy is going to keep someone that she knows reliable, like an executive producer, over Josh Trank, this director who was having problems with the movie. So it could be someone who's not Kathleen Kennedy, like another executive producer. Don't forget Lawrence Kasdan. He and Kathleen Kennedy, who are executive producers of Solo: A Star Wars Story, did not like the original directors and writers who were on that movie. So they were just the original directors, the guys who did the Lego movie, Phil Lord, Chris Miller, I think, and Lawrence Kasdan and Kathleen Kennedy decided to let them go. So Kathleen Kennedy could have known about it, but maybe just trusted someone else's opinion. It could have been Michelle Rejoin. She's one of the new vice presidents of live action development, but I'm not sure she would make a decision like this. I feel like Jon Favreau may have like some input, or maybe he doesn't. I mean, honestly, maybe this is just a Disney executive stuff. Maybe Alan Horn or Bob Iger stepped in. It doesn't really matter who pulled the trigger, you know. It matters that this happened, and I think this isn't going to give Disney a bad reputation with most media sites and just people in general. But I think a lot of people on YouTube and the Star Wars community are going to blow this up, and it's going to be a big topic for a while now, and maybe for years to come. It really depends on how Gina Carano reacts to this. If she comes out and says, "Hey, I made a mistake. I should have apologized," just apologize. I mean, I'm not going to hold this against her for the rest of her life. I think she just, put out some tweets that were ill-advised, and I don't think she's an awful person or anything like that. I'm really sad that she lost her job, because I was a big fan of her. But if she puts out something that's a little, acknowledging that, she's sympathetic in the situation and she, meant no harm, then I think things will, get well for her and people will move on. But if she pushes things a little bit more political, if she goes towards, continuous right side of the aisle, some people were calling her alt-right, which I think is really extreme. But if she wants to keep going that route, then it would make things worse for her if she wants to continue to have a career in acting. And I think she will. I think she's a really solid actress. I think she was in the Deadpool movie, the first one, and I liked her in that. Comment Star says, "I'm Jewish and I'm not offended. Neither is my dad." And that's good to hear. I think a lot of people, we get offended by a lot of stuff so easily these days. But I also think for some people, certain things are just, a close topic and hits home. And I'm someone who's not Jewish, so I have no idea what it would feel like being in that situation and seeing someone talk about this. Someone in my last stream was saying that it doesn't feel great when someone like Gina Carano, who's a big influencer, mocks trans people. And I'm not part of the trans community, and so it gave me a new perspective of realizing, okay, like, how would it feel to have like a celebrity like that you look up to, who kind of mocks something that's really personal to you, like having a pronoun in your bio to help with your identity. And see what Ryan Johnson said. I thought he had said something, but nope. Wow. People see racism and anti-Semitism wherever they want. Yeah. Social proof. Killed her. I don't know who she is. I don't care about her, but I know she gets into Twitter drama. Comparing your Twitter beefs to how the Nazis treated Jews and other ethnicities is pretty slimy. It just wasn't a great comparison. Like, I get the message of like, we shouldn't treat our political rivals or people who don't agree with us politically. That's pretty funny. I mean, really, like, this came out of nowhere. Like, this was such a crazy day for news, and just like this, Pedro Pascal going to be Joel in the Last of Us series. He's a great actor for our generation. I really wonder if he's going to say anything about the whole Gina thing as well. I'm going to look at your guys' comments real quick, see what anyone has to say. If you got any questions, leave them there. I'm going to look now. Star Wars only so far the stock market. Disney in the stock market, Disney hasn't taken a hit, so maybe this will blow over. Perhaps not. I think it'll blow over. I don't think this is going to affect the stocks at all because it's not affecting cash flow. It's not affecting the production. If there was a lot of backlash towards Disney, like the Save Gina Carano thing was cool, but if it's fire Gina Carano that's winning, which clearly is because she's letting go, I don't think. I don't think. I got this flock thing up here. I don't think they're going to take a hit. Just because Disney has such a huge brand. The Mandalorian is the biggest show ever right now. They have so many other things in the works. They just acquired Fox. They're doing great. I mean, say what you will, they're doing great with everything considered, with the pandemic and whatnot. But streaming wise, they're doing really good. So I don't think this is going to affect anything. How is that wrong? How is what wrong? What did she say was wrong? I wonder how this will affect Rangers of the New Republic show. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, this may be a good thing. And hear me out, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. What if this means Bill Burr is going to be the main lead of Rangers of the New Republic? Because he has said some messed up shit. All right, like he's made some jokes, and I think he wouldn't be bad for that show. Nah, all right. This fandom is going to be terrible for the next few months. It is. This is going to be crazy. The curiosity is if Rangers of the New Republic was going to be her show. We don't have any confirmation about that. We know that it could involve her. I think there were rumors about it, but Corey and Noah from Kessel Run Transmissions specifically said that she's getting her own spinoff show with Bo-Katan, and that was going to be her big series and big show. I want to say Stephanie, but it looks like Stefane. I'm sorry if I got it wrong. I'm trans. Her pronoun thing was just cringe. Pronouns and bio in general are also very cringe, but comparing yourself to Jews in World War II is beyond gross. I agree. I agree with basically everything that you're saying, and I'm glad you agree because I'm not trans, so I don't have that insight. I do think in general the pronouns thing was kind of cringe. It just seemed like something that was edgy, like something I would do in middle school, and it's not going to age well. As time goes on, we're going to look back and we're going to be like, why do we need to tweet that? But it was a perfect storm. She put that stuff out right when the election was happening. I can't believe Lucasfilm was looking to get rid of her for 2 months, but it seems like the comparing yourself to World War II Jews thing was the straw that broke the camel's back. And it's I'm just gonna have to see what she says about it. If she's gonna say that was intentional or she just didn't read the thing the whole way. I don't know. I mean, she deleted it, so she knew she did it wrong. There's no way she's asleep for all this. Someone's calling her and saying that that this is going on. Strawberry Prince, white people want to be oppressed so badly. Oh yeah, it's cool for a lot of people for some reason. You ever go to like a school, like no matter how white the people are, they're like, yeah, man, I'm from the hood. Like every radio show ever, you have one guy's like, yeah, I'm kind of from a rough area, something like that. Like everyone's from a rough area. It makes you, I don't know. It makes it seem like you can do more, but no, not all of us. All right. Sorry, I'm clicking on this comment. Why would she continue to push on social media knowing Disney, the only company that thinks she can act, oh my God, was having issues with her comments? Well, maybe if she knew for the past 2 months on her being let go, maybe that's why she started pushing the envelope a little further. So maybe she knew the whole time, and that's why this happened. I'm going to go back to Twitter, see if there's any updates. All right. Oh no. I don't know if y'all saw that last one. I don't know if I can go back to it. That's crazy. Disney was trash long before this. Okay. Laughing. I used to. Okay, yeah, that's low. Showing her an MMA fight. Oh no. In the galaxy far, far away, Cara Dune died of radiation poisoning because she refused to wear a mask on her last mission. Oh, man, Jon Favreau wouldn't do that. That would be crazy. that would be so meta. Hey Disney, if you want a sort of fit, experienced Shakespearean actor with more than 2 emotion range, who is a member of the LGBTQ community and not transphobic, call me. Fire Gina Carano. Huh. Canceling their... Yeah, I actually wonder what's going to happen to the We Love Gina Carano like movement. How angry We Love Gina... Crap. Am I stupid? Is it not We Love Gina? Save Gina Carano. No, they wouldn't say save. Oh, We Love Cara Dune. I'm stupid. All right, and Gina Carano. All right, there it is. Whatever. There's got to be stuff in the latest. Favorite Disney princess? Yeah. Wow. Oh, wow. They're right. People are canceling their subscription to Disney Plus. Nothing wrong. Cancel culture is pathetic. They fired her for political views. Only in this show's Disney's true character. This group of losers firing actors and bullying Star Wars fans for no reason. It's pitiful. Well, the streaming is really where Disney has been doing well these past few months because of the pandemic. They've upped things on their streaming, and it's done great. And The Mandalorian is the main reason to that. And she's a big cause. I think she was a big star in the Mandalorian series. So it's, I mean, she's just gone now, and like the whole character is probably going to be written out in some way. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to look for all the super chats. Thank you to anybody giving out super chats. 11. Oh, there we go. J.A. Carter says she could have just apologized for her comments and called it a day. Instead, she chose to push the envelope. She did this to herself. I think that's the reaction a lot of people are going to come away with. It's ironically like the former president losing, where it was just like you just couldn't shut up. Like you just couldn't shut up and stay off of Twitter and just leave it alone. And no one's really feeling sympathetic. I think I feel sympathetic because she lost her job. This was a great opportunity, and I really enjoyed her character, and I think she's a good person. I think she just, made some mistakes and got frustrated and stood up for herself for what she thought was right, but just kind of, like we said, kept pushing things too far and just kind of kept making people upset. I mean, if she's trying to troll them, it's funny to a point, but it just sometimes is better to turn the other cheek and be the bigger person and walk away and not deal with this. And I think an apology would have helped if she'd have done it sooner. What was it? Daniel Richmond came out with a report the other day saying that she apologized to Disney to keep her show, and he said it was a rumor. And then literally today, this came out that she, did the whole Jew thing, and now later she got let go. So she was let go, not got let go, but she was released from Lucasfilm, no longer employed. Golden ticket to freaking banking it gone. She made a lot of money doing MMA too, I bet. Star Wars only. How do you think Cara will be written out? Death or joining the New Republic? I don't think there's anything we need to do with her character. If I'm being honest, I don't think they'll ever even mention her in this series going forward. And you want to know why I say it? And maybe we can go to some actual Mandalorian footage. Season 2. Good old Ben Swallow. Yeah, there we go. Mandalorian right there. The way it ended in season 2, well, okay. She was still on the ship with Bo-Katan, the Sasha Banks character, Din Djarin, Moff Gideon. They were all on the ship together right when Luke took Grogu, and that was the last we saw any of them. So when season 3 happens, they could ideally just pick up with Bo-Katan, Mando, and Sasha Banks' character, and the other guy, I can't remember his name, but fun fact, George Lucas is the guy who picked the name for him. They are all just on a ship going to Mandalore or going on a mission and trying to figure out what to do about the Darksaber, because Din has that right now. They're all going to go figure that out, and Cara Dune just never even mentioned again, because it would seem like the best strategy for them at the moment. Why make a big to-do out of it? Like when we talked about Rise of Skywalker with the Holdo maneuver, what'd they do? Finn just said that was a one-time thing. Only Holdo could do it. And what'd they say about Palpatine coming back? It was the same guy, I think, Dominic Moynihan, who said, cloning secrets only the Sith knew. Like, just stupid stuff to, I don't know, make it just offshoot it. I don't know, it's stupid. Did Pedro Pascal apologize? Does Christina Ariella apologize? Please keep the same energy. Yeah, I don't think Pedro did apologize. Justin Gray says, why should anyone apologize to leftist cultists? I don't think it's about apologizing to leftist cultists. I think it's about I want to say everything. I was fine with everything up until what happened in the past 24 hours of, comparing political differences to religious differences. I think that's where you don't have to apologize to left cultists. You have to apologize to the Jewish people who actually went through that. Political differences and having beef with your neighbor on your political difference. I mean, just like I said earlier, a religion is not that much of a choice because a lot of people are born into it. You can choose it as you get older, but your political beliefs are a choice, and we choose to talk about them, and we're choosing to make this a big deal. And that's where she kept pushing things. So it's not like she has to apologize for her political beliefs. It's like she has to apologize for making what seemed to be an anti-Semitic comment. Stumbling Upward says, so it was for an anti-Semitic comment. Yes, that's what I assumed it was. But no, actually, they wanted to fire her because of the election stuff. Remember what we just learned from the insider at Lucasfilm on the Hollywood Reporter is that they were saying back in November they were looking to get rid of her. But that mostly was because of her, I guess, voter fraud election claims or mask wearing stuff. So maybe they couldn't legally fire her for anything that wouldn't get them pushback, not only, but also she could, well, I don't know. I don't know the actual law for them in that state. I'm going to see if I can find her tweets from back in November. Tweets. As a result of the transphobic stuff. And I'm not saying she was being transphobic. I'm saying that she was being accused of being transphobic. Deadline.com. Seeing if they have anything for November. Okay. I have Deadline pulled up for this. We'll share that screen instead. Here we go. Carano has previously stirred up dust on social media. See, I say stir the pot, and they say stir up dust, so we're all thinking the same. On social media with comments about mask wearing and voter fraud in November of 2020, she made fun of those using preferred pronouns on social media by listing beep, bop, boop in her Twitter bio. The action came off as transphobic. So, all right, they're saying that is what is transphobic. I did not interpret that as transphobic, but I am not a person of trans, so I don't know. She later walked that back, saying that Mandalorian star Pedro Pascal, quotation marks, helped me understand why people were putting them in their bios. I didn't know before, but I do now. I won't be putting them in my bio, but good for all you who choose to. I stand against bullying, especially the most vulnerable and freedom to choose. Okay, so that's when so that's November. That's what got them to say, I don't want you to be employed here anymore. When she had the trans issue. And it's crazy that Pedro Pascal is the one who kind of seemed to be the big adult here and reach out to her and say, hey, this is why, people do this. This is why people put pronouns in their bio. And he's likely telling her that it's a big thing with their identity. They want to feel comfortable with their identity. And for social awareness, when you talk to a person who's trans, you don't want to go up to them and be like, hey, bro. And they say, hey, I identify as non-binary or something. And if it helps them, great. Who am I to judge? It's not my life, so can't tell them what to do. And if it's whatever makes them comfortable, Go into some. You must do what the Jedi tell you to do. Yeah, Lucasfilm is like the Jedi Council, bro. You have to follow the code, and that's the big thing. If it was another company, I mean, look what's happening with Ray Fisher and the DC stuff. I mean, he has been talking crap about like a lot of the executives, but it seemed like he was still going to be on board for quite some time. And then just out of nowhere, it was announced that he's not going to be in the Flash anymore. How hard is it to just not tweet? I will never understand why people think their garbage thoughts are that important. People all over the country get fired or lose out on jobs because of tweets. I agree with you. I said in my last stream that one thing that would really help people, and what's helped me recently, is I have a journal now. If there's anything I want to tweet and I think is going to get like a reaction and that I just kind of think is stupid, maybe, I just kind of want to talk about it. I want to get my thoughts out there. I just write it down in my journal, and it helps me a lot because of whatever I was going to say on here, I said in there, and I felt the same. I didn't need any likes or replies to validate it or challenge my view on it. I just wanted to say it, I think. And so writing it down really helped me out. And I think in this situation, when you're a big celebrity like Gina Carano, you're a big celebrity like Pedro Pascal, it's best to avoid these situations and just not tweet about this stuff. If Pedro Pascal put out that post comparing 70 million Trump supporters, people who voted for him in the last election. Maybe not all of them are supporters. Maybe some of them just voted for him because he was the incumbent president. They were being compared by Pedro Pascal to Confederate people, to Nazis in Germany, and he deleted it really quick. And that's something that I think a lot of us condemned at the time. But it's one of those things when you're a celebrity like that, you don't want to have that kind of perception and reputation to make that many people mad, alienate 70 million people who voted for the former president. And I think it's a good thing for celebrities to try to avoid that. And he seems to be doing it a little bit more than Gina. But for him, it's also, he's the star of the Mandalorian series. If they let him go, it would be huge, huge. Gina Carano is a co-star. She's a big deal, but compared to, and no offense, but with that, or who else is there? Who's a big deal? Ahsoka Tano. I mean, they're going to kind of take over because of their notoriety before the series came out. And Cara Dune's an important character, but she kind of filled her role, and there's nothing story-wise that's keeping her with Mando. She's a marshal now. She can go do her own thing, and we would all know that would work with the story. Bong Jovi says, the Holocaust was mass genocide. If you think what's going on in America is anywhere close to that, close to the Holocaust, you really need a reality check. She got just that. Yeah, nothing close to it. Political differences and all that, nothing close to the Holocaust. Jason said people need to keep to themselves sometime. They do. What you're describing is the complete degradation of freedom of speech. This isn't a legal thing. It's the company. If you're a soldier, a pilot, athlete, etc., you're able to, you're held to a higher standard. Same with public figures. Yeah. I thought Ray Fisher quit, not got fired. Yeah, you're probably right. I didn't keep up a lot with it. I'm sorry. I don't keep up a lot with the DC stuff. Twitter was a mistake. Wait, she actually got fired. Unbelievable. Yeah, she's gone. There's no coming back, it seems. I wonder how that would work if she did come back, because like Matt was saying earlier, James Gunn came back after his tweets, but those were tweets from years and years and years ago. And he apologized for it, and I think he talked with them a little bit more, and they allowed him to come back. Gina is just now putting out this stuff. Cancel Disney Plus contract. Wow. That's pretty funny. Gina Carano isn't getting a pass, so the woke racists in Hollywood shouldn't either. Yeah, do you guys think someone could replace her? We won't be seeing Beep Bop Boop again. Wow. The memes are instant, man. I love that. That's the one great thing about the internet is no matter situation, there's always funny memes. Has she tweeted anything recent? Let me check. Nope. I cannot spell to save my life. Nothing recent on it. Blaze. Trying to see if anything is official, like people have another scoop. Republican today being treated Jewish during the Holocaust. Yeah, everyone assumes she's Jewish, or not, not that she's Jewish. She's Republican and a Trump supporter. And a lot of the stuff she's liked has kind of linked to that. A lot of fandom menace stuff that most people typically associate with Republican views. Last year, I just mocked. Mask wearing, pandemic, voter fraud occurred during the 2020 presidential election. Like posts disparaging the Black Lives Matter movement. Yeah. Come on. See if there's any good images of the tweets that really got her in trouble. Well, it looks like a lot of people are, no, something different. Maybe happy. Nope, thought we would see something. Sorry. Guess not. She was really hitting her stride. Getting her own series, becoming a more prominent figure in The Mandalorian. Gina Carano fired, yep. Who's this guy? Sean Chandler, huh? And remember, there's that picture of her being erased and replaced with Ahsoka. Someone at Lucasfilm requested that for her. Oh, The Verge, they may have something. Not including deployed. Oh, I guess it's just what people are saying right here. Yeah, that's a popular one. Transphobic, anti-mask, alt-right who parrots QAnon conspiracies. I didn't know anything about the QAnon conspiracies. That was kind of surprising. She's literally posted Nazi propaganda on her Instagram. Well, I don't know about this being Nazi propaganda, but I thought it was condemning the Nazis. Oh, it was just those two. Yeah, so beep, bop, boop is what did it. Little did you know, those 3 words could really cost you a job, even though she didn't get officially fired for that. It was mostly the recent stuff, but the Jewish variety. I cannot believe it. All right, going back to the comments, I'm going to read some of what you guys are saying. She could have been fired for months. Yep. What tweet of Gina's are we talking about? So this isn't actually a tweet. This is an Instagram post. She just posted stuff about the difference of the treatment that the Nazis had towards the Jewish people during the Holocaust, where the government kind of manipulated the community into hating people for, their religion. And she said, what's the difference between that and hating someone for their political beliefs? And, anyone would know that there's a kind of a big difference. This isn't about politics. It's about her not being able to shut up and being a PR problem for Disney. Yeah, I think if she would have stopped tweeting a lot of stuff or stopped liking stuff, going on streams with other people who, kind of often criticize her employer, things wouldn't be like this. She probably would have stayed on for a while. Byron A say Star Wars only wrong. Well, tell me why I'm wrong, man. You got to give me more than that. I'm okay being wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll come out and say I'm wrong. I thought her post wasn't enough to get her fired for me, and I don't think she should have been fired. But I also understand from a PR perspective, from a business side, that this isn't a good look for you. Are you going to make a video talking about this topic or just the stream? I'd love to see a video about all the facts on the matter. I may make a video tomorrow about it just because I'll be able to kind of like type out my feelings and really, not my feelings about it, but just kind of get all the facts like you're saying and really sit down and think about it and see if there's any more updates by tomorrow morning. And someone asked in the last stream to do a documentary on it. And I'm not going to do like a full-fledged thing, but I could do something where we track everything that happened, like the first thing that started all of this to what happened now, because I said I didn't want to do it until the story was over, and it seems like the story may have just wrapped up. Star Wars only, they should recast her as a Gungan and have it say all the dumb shit she posted on Twitter. That would be pretty funny. Jar Jar voice and all. Levi Bond says, yeah, let's remember she was in all of 2 episodes in the first season. It's not the biggest blow. Okay, that's a fair point. Yeah, she wasn't in a lot of it, but she still was a big deal, I feel like. All right, Byron says, you're wrong because she compared political climates, not the Holocaust. It's ironic now that she got fired after that tweet. Yeah. I'm sorry. When you said tweet, I think you're talking about her Instagram story. she did compare political climates. I'm not disagreeing with that. I think I said initially that I understand the message she was trying to, like, the intent she had. I understood what she was trying to say. She just didn't say it in the best way. And she compared it to something that is kind of apples and oranges. No one's, I'm someone who leans a little conservative and to the right. And, mainly when it comes to policies, like I said, I didn't vote in the last election because it's the first time I'll be able to legally vote. And I want to be able to be confident and happy with the person I'm voting for. And I didn't get to have that in the last election. So I'm just saying that I don't feel like it was the proper analogy for her to make. And no one who leans conservative like me, no one who leans conservative like Gina is being treated anywhere close to what the Jews were going through during the Holocaust. Because I'm still, in my house, I'm still living my life day to day. I'm still living a normal life. She's still doing the same thing, just without Star Wars now. Too soon? I'm sorry. Goldman says I can hop on in 5 to 10 minutes. Please do. Please do. Byron says it wasn't anti-Semitic. A lot of people are going to look at it that way. And I'm Byron. I don't know if you are, but I'm not Jewish. If you are, then maybe you can give me more insight. But someone else who was Jewish said they weren't offended by it. Neither was their father. So maybe it wasn't really anti-Semitic, but a lot of people are interpreting it that way. And I think this was the straw that brought the camel's back. Don't forget, this is something Lucasfilm was wanting to do for 2 months. And I don't agree with the move. And I agree with some of the stuff she was saying. I wasn't a big fan of constantly having the lockdowns. I think we should have transparency when it comes to elections. I don't think anyone should make that a political issue. We should all want fair elections in America. But she kept pushing it. And I think for a lot of people, we all know that Lucasfilm knows people in Hollywood. They're a little left-leaning. And when it comes to stuff they think that is maybe dangerous, like spreading COVID conspiracy theories, if you will, they don't want to deal with that. Draconic says, I'm more upset about the fact that cancel culture worked as opposed to losing Gina LMAO. That's a good point. I think a lot of people, culture-wise, that are going to look at that and say this is cancel culture. Cancel culture. Stupid. Charlie Spurth, what's up, buddy? I haven't seen you in a minute. He says, Star Wars only. I don't know what the F Disney's problem is. That's a good point. That's a good point. As I say, they may have gone too far in a few places. Do I have that? Yep.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
Do you think that was Gina? Do you think Gina maybe have gone too far in a few places, guys? I think some of us are going to look at it like that. Let's watch some, see if we can watch some Mandalorian footage when we talk about this stuff. Oh, we'll see if there's any updates on this. Yep, people saying they're not going to sign up for Disney Plus. She shouldn't have been fired. She has some backwards belief that I think a discussion would have sufficed. I just never heard her say anything hateful. And if she has, then it's justified. I never wish for anyone to lose their source of income unless it's deserved. Cancel culture went too far in this one. This is just normal news. So, yeah, we're going to have people who don't agree with this. And maybe this is going to become a bigger deal. Maybe we can all find a solution to this. Maybe we can all come together, man, and hold hands in harmony. There's got to be a way to work the jeans guy into this. Firewater FX says, told you she should never have been affiliated with the Fandom Menace. Yeah, you're not wrong. I was trying to say that to Matt too. I really feel like that kind of pushed Lucasfilm's hand in the direction of like, all right, we can't. She's now associating herself with people who openly slander us, who say there's a Lucasfilm civil war, who say awful things about us. I'm not trying to be a shill here, and I know people are going to say I am, but fine, whatever. Lucasfilm and Disney aren't going to want that. They don't want people associating with people who slander them like that because it's a bad public image. You don't want employees like that. And it's their prerogative. They want to do that. They have every legal right to do so. A bunch of liars on here saying they're canceling Disney Plus. Another big lie. We're not gonna believe in that? Disney Plus is gonna be for everybody. Andrew Harris said Gina may have gone too far in a few places. I gotta play it again just for the super chat. Thank you very much.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
Yeah, she You guys remember the Ray Park thing? Like Ray Park, he posted a video of his wife polishing his lightsaber, and he never had an official statement of that afterwards. His wife came out and said it was an accident, like he accidentally posted it, which, okay, sure, whoops, like my hand slipped. But yeah, that whole thing, it died out as time went on, and Ray Park never commented about it. And maybe, just maybe, that's going to happen with Gina Carano. She's going to keep posting normal stuff that she does, and the Star Wars community is just going to move on from her, except for people like the Fandom Menace, or just people who are like me, fans of Gina Carano, fans of Cara Dune. But most of the story is going to move on past, and she just isn't cast in Star Wars anymore. Because I don't think Ray Park's going to be casted in any future Star Wars projects. And don't forget, I was the first person to come out with an exclusive scoop back in 2020. I think it was February. Oh my God, yeah, about a year ago now, where I said that he was going to be brought back into live action, that Lucasfilm was looking to bring him back. Later that year, they said he was coming back, and then almost the same day, he put that stuff out and got into the big controversy. And Star Wars wise, we haven't heard from him since. There were some scoops, I think like LRM Online, or there was a certain Star Wars scooper that said that Ray Park was let go. So maybe that's going to happen to Gina Carano, where we never know, like where she goes. Well, not where she goes next, but what her story was going to be like, because we're not going to know what Darth Maul's story was going to be like with Ray Park. The ecologist says bye-bye. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. It means a lot. And thank you for anybody who's sending super chats. Helps the channel out a lot. And if you guys are interested in my Twitter, Instagram, or Discord, Twitter and Instagram suck, but my Discords are great. I have a link in the description below, so check that out. Appreciate all the support. Carter says, I don't think she'll be much of a loss. She was a terrible actress who's played a one-dimensional character. This is good because it'll mean Bill Burr or Paul Hyung-lee will head Rangers of the New Republic. Now, I apologize if I didn't get Paul's name right, his middle name at least. Bill Burr, I would love to have a lead role in Rangers of the New Republic. He truly gave like one of the best performances of all time when it comes to Star Wars, at least, with his character in the second to last episode of season 2. I can't remember the name of it, but it was directed by Rick Famuyiwa, and just perfect. And it's such a Bill Burr character too. I really love his character and his arc in The Mandalorian so far, and I want to see more of him. And he seems to be on board for more. And he's funny. But like Big Dog put in the comment as well, he comments. He says they'll cancel Bill Burr next. I think, man, yeah, I don't know. I think Bill Burr does not care enough, and Disney and Lucasfilm know that they wouldn't cancel him. We got a friend joining in the stream. Goldman, what's going on?
What are your thoughts? I haven't been able to watch anything of what you said so far.
That's fine.
I'm curious what you think.
So it's been a wild ride, man. It's been a wild hour and a half for me.
Definitely
trying to digest this news because it's so crazy. I'm not shocked. I feel like this was going to happen eventually. Like I never came out and said I think they're going to fire her or anything like that. But I just remember thinking like she's digging herself a grave, and I feel like she's in that grave now. I'm not shocked. Not shocked that they had a show in the works for her, and that it kind of. I really didn't think they were going to fire her for some tweets, but because of yesterday's tweet, it's not shocking. So I'm not happy that she got fired, but I understand from a PR perspective, she's a liability now. And I said with Matt Jarbo earlier, and even in the stream, that I think her associating with people who are openly dissing on her company and her employer, that also kind of pushed her. The other way. What about you? What do you think?
I agree. I don't think the tweet she made was the best tweet. Probably wasn't something you should be saying. I don't think, or it wasn't a tweet. It was an Instagram post. I don't think that was the sole thing that pushed her to get fired or dropped by Lucasfilm. I think it was a collection of things. You know, she did do the pronoun thing earlier, which is probably something you shouldn't be doing by mocking people who want to put their pronouns in their bio. Granted, she was standing up for herself. I get that, but that probably wasn't the best thing. And then I felt like she kept on kind of poking the bear, if you will. And I don't know, when she started to affiliate with the Fandom Menace, I get it. You can talk to anyone you want. And I'm not saying people in the Fandom Menace are bad people, but they have openly said some fairly harsh things about people at Lucasfilm. You know, they called out Pedro Pascal. You know, we all know what they've been saying about Kathleen Kennedy, Ryan Johnson, J.J. Abrams, even Bob Iger. And she's like openly endorsing these people in a sense. You know, when you're someone who's that prominent and you go on a smaller person's platform, unless you're there to straight up debate, which she wasn't, you're in a sense kind of promoting them in a sense. And if you're Lucasfilm, why would you want to associate with that? Now, granted, if I was Lucasfilm, I probably wouldn't have fired Gina Carano. I feel like most people don't know what Gina's been saying. Like if I talk to my roommates, if I didn't tell them about this, they wouldn't have known at all. But it's unfortunate. But my take, she kind of dug her own grave. It's unfortunate. I wish it didn't happen, but I think it was one thing after another. And the thing with the Phantom Menace, you know, her previous tweets, probably should. One thing. If you work for Lucasfilm, you should not be tweeting on Twitter. That's it hurt Pablo, it hurt Gina, it hurt Ryan Johnson.
You got to do no opinions on anything. Read the super chat. Thank you very much. He says, yet Pedro Pascal can compare Trump and his supporters to the Third Reich. And I think that is a sentiment a lot of people are going to have and a point people are going to make. And I've made before. And I said that, like, I wasn't upset with him for doing it, but I was just like, all right, I don't think that's a good opinion. I think that's stupid.
I agree.
But he took it down, and he didn't keep putting stuff like that up. And Gina had done this before, but she apologized and whatnot. Did you see the part? And we'll talk about what's on the screen in a second. But did you see the part where they said that a source was saying that they were looking to fire her back in November because of the beep bop boop thing, the trans stuff? That like they were planning on. They didn't plan on doing it then, but they were looking for reasons to fire her even back then. So this has been in the works for a while. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. This is what finally pushed him over that goalpost to say no more. Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't be. Gina seems like the person that wouldn't silence herself to keep a job. I wouldn't be surprised if Lucasfilm spoke to her before and is like, "Listen, we can't have you saying these things. It's not good for the Walt Disney Company." And she might have said, "No, I'm not going to be silenced. I'm going to stand up for what I think is right." I can totally see Gina doing that. And if I'm Lucasfilm, like, okay, you stand up for what's right, but we don't want you associated with our company. Again, I'm not saying I would have made this decision that Lucasfilm was making, but I somewhat understand what they were going for.
Yeah, well, and this is a point that some people are going to make too, and people who are like me, he's saying, why is being right-wing digging your own grave? Leftists talk about politics all the time. I see your point, and, you know, I'm someone who leans conservative. Like I said, I didn't vote in the last election. I didn't like either candidate, but I also look at this and say that it's not a left or right thing. For some people, this last thing seemed anti-Semitic. The thing with the Jews, comparing it, like it's completely different. And a lot of people interpreted her original post about the trans stuff as transphobic. And it's not a left or right thing. I think it's a PR thing at this point. I think it's a big liability because we talk about Mark Hamill doing it. Well, Mark Hamill's not only older, it's Luke Skywalker. They can't really afford to cut him for anything, you know?
No, you're not wrong.
Gina Carano, someone put earlier, was only in 2 episodes of season 1 and maybe 2 episodes of season 2 as well. Maybe 3.
I mean,
the one where they reunited
3.2.
Okay.
She was at the end of the 6th episode for like one scene when Mando tells her that Grogu's gone. Okay. But yeah, basically 3 episodes where she has a significant role in season 2.
Gungan Army says if they're going to cancel her, then they need to take a look at those High Republic writers' tweets. It has to swing both ways. Well, what do you think about that? Because some people are saying that the High Republic writers were saying things were like racist towards us white people. It wasn't. I don't know. Go ahead.
You got to keep in mind that didn't Lucasfilm drop Chuck Wendig for making some very far left wing tweets?
That's true. That's very true. I forgot about that.
Again, I know we looked at it one time. The Justina Ireland's tweets.
Yeah.
Again, those are not tweets that I would agree with. I disagree with the tweets, but again, it's not like I don't think it was something that is cancel worthy. And she did it once, right? Like she made a bunch of tweets that probably weren't in the best interest of the company. You know, it pissed off a lot of people, but she hasn't done anything since. And she's an author of a kid's book. I mean, she wrote like the High Republic book she wrote is a literal it's like less than a junior novel. It's a kid's book. And there's a difference between her and someone like Gina Carano, who is probably the prominent woman in the show. So yeah,
Agreed.
I and it was on repeated occasions. You know, Gina Carano was doing this for a while, and I wouldn't be surprised if her associating with the Phantom Menace was a big part of it. I mean, again, those are people who have said some very mean things to Kathleen Kennedy and other people that have worked at Lucasfilm. So yeah, I don't agree with this decision. Am I surprised a little bit? I'm not in super
They were
shock
quick on that. They like within 24 hours she was gone. Since that initial post, so it was a crazy news cycle for it.
It's a crazy thing. I don't think. Well, the channel was for sure. This is embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, I get my shield checks all the time for praising the sequels, so I'm not worried. But,
yeah, James, you should really check out like 2 of my documentaries. One talking about how Lucas kind of got screwed over in the Disney deal, and then the first one called "The Fans versus Disney," where I talk about how much people hated Disney back in 2018. So, just trying to be honest with it. What do you think it's going to do to the Disney stock? You think it's going to mess with the brand name at all in any way, or is this just kind of? I mean, things are bad enough right now.
I'm very unfamiliar with stocks. That is something that is way out of my area of expertise. So I mean, I can't imagine it's good for the company.
GameStop? You didn't buy GameStop stocks?
I did not. I did not.
I agree with this a little bit. This decision sets a dangerous precedent. It's I don't know. I think that this has been a concern for a lot of people when it comes to free speech on social media for a long time, and I wonder how this is going to be talked about in the future, like this year as well, because I think they're going to do something for Section 230, right? There's something that came out this past week that they were looking at changing something with that into law, and I really wonder is this going to be brought up in the conversation?
Do you think Lucasfilm is going to make a statement?
I think they kind of already did, didn't they? I mean, with the spokesman talked to IO9.
Oh, he did?
Well, yeah, it wasn't like
who's. Oh, okay.
It was. Let me see if I can. IO9. Come on, where you at? Oh, I put in for November. Sorry. Yeah, IO9 is the one that says they have a spokesman who specifically said that she's dropped and no longer employed. Can't remember what they said. They didn't say anything specific, but.
Okay, but I wonder if they'll release a tweet or something. I don't know.
I wonder if this was anything.
Yeah, I wonder because I don't like to think it's a thing that because she was conservative. I mean, we have seen people get I remember I think it was in 2016 or 2017, Kathy Griffin got kicked off of CNN because she held up a Trump head on one of her skits.
Oh, yeah,
we have seen.
Yeah, that artist.
That was awful. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like when you compare something to the Holocaust, it's pretty bad. Again, I don't think she should have been fired unless the thing with the Phantom Menace really bothered Lucasfilm.
I don't think that was it though. I mean, it seems like what they were saying was really what they perceived as transphobic comments. I mean, I didn't have an issue with almost anything she said. I just felt like they were ill-advised stuff.
Me too.
For me, I was like, let's just ignore her. I feel like she was kind of stirring the pot for her own good. She was getting a lot of attention, and it just wasn't helping anything. So I was like, all right, it's not a big deal. I'm not gonna try to avoid it for what I can. And she just didn't want to seem to let it die out. She just wanted to keep it going, and this is what happens. I mean, it just got worse and worse. Charlie Spur says, Goldman, I know you know I appreciate your honesty, but I think some people at Lucasfilm get a lot of fair criticism as well from fans.
Oh, of course. But I think there's a difference between being critical. I mean, I've been critical of Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, when you lose as many directors as she did, you're not doing that good of a job. But I think there's a difference between being critical and comparing her to the devil or saying she's an awful woman and stuff like that. I don't think she's an. I mean, I don't know personally. Maybe she could be a terrible person, but the things she's said, I don't think that means she's an. Like people have been attacking her character, like saying that she's a disgusting woman, and I feel like there's a difference between that and being critical. So I thank you, Charlie Spur, for the super chat, but I think there's a difference between fair criticism, which Kathleen Kennedy definitely deserves, and being consistently personal about it.
Yeah. Well, because when it came to the movies, I think a lot of us had fair criticism saying that, all right, you've had a lot of director replacements. The production was rushed. You didn't really give a lot of time for the writers and directors to get things done. And then it came to The Mandalorian, and now we're giving her credit saying, that's a great show. It's a great series. And they have multiple projects in the works. Jon Favreau is doing amazing. Dave Filoni's getting more control. Things seem to be doing really well. Kevin Feige is getting a Star Wars movie. Taika Waititi, Rogue Squadron's coming in 2023. So I feel like we've had better things to say about her this past year or so because she's been doing better. I don't know how this is going to impact her reputation with Star Wars fans. I don't know. I mean, could you imagine if Gina Carano came out and said it was Kathleen Kennedy or something like that? Like just specifically called her out?
You think Gina Carano could do something like that? Kind of, it's a much different situation than Ray Fisher, but just continuously openly speak out against a situation.
Yeah, she could. She really could.
Imagine.
And
I don't want that happening to Star Wars.
I don't want it either. There was that thing that we have from her media, or not her media company. I'm sorry, a talent agency. She's been dropped from her talent agency UTA after getting fired from The Mandalorian. Hollywood Reporter who reported it, that's even worse. I mean, those are the people who get you these gigs. Lucasfilm, this is what that's saying. And then
again, I know people like to say that it's there's a problem with silencing conservatives, and I don't think it was just because she was most likely right leaning. I mean, I think if she just made some pro Trump tweets occasionally, said the things about the masks, I don't think she'd be fired. But it's like the thing with the pronouns and this most recent Instagram post. I think that was the bigger problem, not so much that she was a conservative.
Well, there's probably a bunch of people at Lucasfilm who are, conservative leaning. I mean, Jon Favreau is notorious for not really sharing his political beliefs. What's his name? Yeah, James Earl Jones. He's pretty Republican. He's open Republican. So I don't think it's the fact that someone's a Republican. I think it's that they're outspoken like Gina is, in the sense of some people found the COVID tweets, her being anti-lockdown, anti-mask, as harmful to other people. But like I've said, it's mostly from Lucasfilm's view of the transphobic stuff that they think is like the tweets they thought were transphobic were wrong. And then what she put out recently was also wrong. And like you said, they got rid of Chuck Wendig for this. They've seem to really have cracked down on a lot of Lucasfilm people doing this. Up until recently, we've heard about the white people stuff from some Star Wars: The High Republic, the show host, and then the Justina Ireland. So it's had a pattern of it in the past. I feel like things had died out, but now they're starting to resurface, and this is going to bring it even more to light. And the culture war and the fandom is going to get pretty bad now.
It's been ignited again. Just when the Star Wars fandom was in a good place, Gina Carano is now the face of the next culture war.
Oh, God. Yeah, we entered a new decade. I mean, it's the 2020s, and crazy that 2020 went by so fast, even though that awful, awful year of lockdown. But now we're in 2021, and this decade feels like a culture war already online for Star Wars. It happened a lot in, 2017 to 2020 itself, but now we're in a new decade, and yeah, she could be the face of the people who were canceled by the cancel culture.
Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be a political thing because everything's political. But I don't think it should. It's unavoidable. But there's sometimes a little bit of a double standard. But I don't think Lucasfilm would fire someone just because they're an outspoken Trump supporter. I think it was the specific things she said about the trans people in this comment that was the problem.
Yeah, this is a good comment. Being pro-trans isn't just a left-wing thing. It's not. I mean, you can support trans, be right-wing. I mean, there's a lot of Republicans who are in support of them now. It's we were talking about it in my last stream. Someone was saying that it kind of hurt what she was saying, what she said about the Bebop, because it seemed like she was mocking trans people.
She essentially was.
Yeah, and even if she didn't mean to be insensitive, it came across that way. When you're a trans person struggling with your identity and pronouns are a big deal to you, it may not be a big deal to someone like me and you who are, we're just not trans. We're not part of that community.
Yeah.
So we have no context in that. But when you're going through that struggle, it's already hard enough, coming out with your identity and dealing with that. But then having someone seemingly make fun of you for it, it's got to hurt, man. Someone with this kind of influence. It's why I say these people with these big followings should kind of just stay away from politics or anything that would be controversial.
Yeah. I agree. Again, it's different to disagree. I think if she just said, I'm not going to put my pronouns in my bio, and that's it, that's not something she's going to get fired for. I genuinely believe Lucasfilm is not like looking to fire someone because of things like that. But again, it's like she was essentially mocking people by doing the beep, beep, boop thing. And even if you disagree, like, I'm never going to put my pronouns in my bio. That's just not going to happen. But I don't want to mock people based off of their beliefs. It's a little hypocritical, right? When a lot of these people they're mocking all these people that want to put pronouns in their bios. Again, I don't agree with it, but it's like, you do you. As long as you're not telling me what to do, I'm not going to tell you what to do. And I'm not going to make fun of you for it, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I try not to judge too harshly because, I mean, honestly, what do I know? Everyone has a different background on this. And I think a lot of us are taking this. We have to cancel Twitter.
You should have seen when I made my tweet earlier when I made my tweet earlier and everyone was like, I lost so many followers. People were like saying, make sure you unfollow this guy. I thought it was pretty fun. I hate Twitter, dude.
Jeez.
I hate it so much. I only follow like, I think I only follow 15 people now. You're still one of them. But like, I just can't deal with people on Twitter anymore. I follow just news and like friends. That's really it.
I definitely appreciate it, but it also is probably better for your mental health.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, apparently, this is from Deadline, but whoever tweeted this, around the galaxy, basically saying that it wasn't even that she was fired per se. She's definitely let go, not being signed on, but she wasn't even under contract. So,
it's a smart decision.
Season 3, yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's like the thing with this might be an awful comparison, and maybe it is, but in terms of like the sports, people were very concerned about signing certain athletes because they can be a trouble in like the locker rooms, and not so much because of their talent. Yeah. Maybe this is just something that Lucasfilm and I guess her agency just doesn't want to deal with, and that's their every right.
Yep, and it just looks like she may be done with Hollywood in general. If her agency let her go, I think there'd be a lot of bad publicity for any agency that picks her up right now. And that really sucks. I don't want her career to go down the drain at all. And maybe it won't because, there's some people who are going to support what she says. And this is going to be trending, though. Cancel Disney Plus.
It's not going to happen.
It's doing so good.
I see people are like, we're going to pirate the Mandalorian. It's like, it's funny because, pirating the Mandalorian is better for Disney than you not watching it, because if you watch it for free, you're still talking about it and you still contribute to making it the most popular show going on right now. That was the thing with Game of Thrones. It was the most pirated show, I believe, ever. But because so many people were watching it, it builds buzz and gets other people to want to watch it and pay for it. So if you really want to screw over Disney, then you probably just shouldn't watch any of their things anymore, whether you pay for it or not. That's my take.
It's hard that they control so much. I mean, they just bought Fox. Disney Plus is growing. I mean, who doesn't want to watch The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
I need to turn off the music. Don't want to get copyrighted in the first 5 seconds. Yeah, it should be Megan Fox.
What? I've been seeing people say that. What did Megan Fox say that got her canceled all those years ago?
I don't specifically know. I think something with her gender baby. Why did Megan Fox get canceled? I don't really know. It just seems like I remember her being fired from Michael Bay and having fallouts with him. I can't remember why, but that was like my childhood, so I don't really remember a lot of it. Raymond Billman says, funny how Lucasfilm employees that harass fans constantly get to stay because it fits the narrative. I feel like this is going to be brought up a lot when it comes to people who are on the fandom and side, to people who aren't fans of Disney, Star Wars, and Lucasfilm. They're going to say that this has been a problem for a while. How come she loses her job, but no one else does?
I think that I mean the immediate thing that comes to mind is Pablo Hidalgo with what he said to Star Wars Theory, but like he said that in he said it was a private tweet, and it's not like he made a comment he probably shouldn't have made, sure, but he said it in his own privacy, and he didn't like attack Star Wars Theory, and apparently he even tried to apologize. I don't remember the whole situation, but I think it's a little different than trying to mock a bunch of people. Yeah,
not only mock a bunch of people, but make what some people are going to say is an anti-Semite comment. But there's a difference between making fun of being a Star Wars fan, something that we choose to be, and thinking we Star Wars fans are being treated like the Jews during Nazi Germany by Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm isn't even close to me. They're in San Francisco. I'm in Florida. I'm good.
I feel like when in doubt, and this applies to everyone, you probably should not be making comparisons to the Holocaust unless there are actually thousands of people dying. I feel like that's a safe thing to say.
Yeah. You can believe two things at once. You can think that Disney mishandled the PR for the sequels and be okay with Gina being fired. I think that's a fair point. I think Disney mishandled the sequels when it came to production, PR. I don't think they had a good grip on their employees and a good relationship with the fan base. And I don't agree with everything Gina said, but I do agree with a lot of her stances on things, certain things. But I suspect it should be fired. This isn't going to make me boycott Star Wars. This isn't going to make me boycott Disney or Lucasfilm. I'm just like, well, you guys made a really shitty decision in my opinion, but so did Gina.
Yeah, I wouldn't have fired her if I was Lucasfilm. But it is what it is. I wonder, do you think they'll recast the character? I don't think so.
No, you can't recast a character. That would be
Star Wars has never really done that. I mean, there's obviously things with Han Solo, but that's an age thing, not a actor thing. If that makes sense.
No, you're right. I don't think they're going to recast her. I don't want her to be recasted. I mean, do you really? How do you see them dealing with her character going forward? Do you see them not even mentioning her ever again? I saw a meme where it was like the opening crawl for season 3 was basically her saying the crawl saying that she died because she didn't wear a mask on a mission.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
They're in a fortunate situation given the way season 2 ended. She was there. She saw Luke. She doesn't need to. Maybe she can go back to that one planet we saw her in season 1, and she just retires. She's not integral to the story. I mean, season 2 was so it finished in such a neat way. There's very few cliffhangers, and the only remaining plot threads are the stuff that's going on with Mandalore, which Cara Dune has nothing to do with. So there's nothing really that she's not integral to the story anymore. Her story concluded in a sense. I mean, we all kind of assumed that the Rangers of the New Republic thing was kind of going to involve her, considering she said she was a Ranger of the New Republic, but you can make it about different people. It's not hard.
I'm advocating for Bill Burr to be the main lead for Rangers of the New Republic. That would make me happy.
I would love that. I don't know if he would do that, though. You think he would?
For the right money, yeah, but it also depends
I would love
on
that.
If he's going to do a comedy special, because I listen to the guy a lot, and he says they have to do a lot for that. He has to go on tour for a little bit and then make up material for a special. So if he has free time, I think he would, and if the money was right. And I don't know. Do you think he'd get canceled though? I mean, is Bill Burr?
No. Bill Burr's not. I don't think. What has Bill Burr said that would get him canceled?
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of shit if we're being honest.
Fair. I mean, I wouldn't know, but I'll take your word for it. I feel like there's a difference between, has he said things really recently that you think would get him canceled?
No, for him it's because he just doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck. And a lot of people like that and don't like that about him. But I think he'd be all right. He likes pissing people off. That's his thing.
I get it. I don't see him getting fired. I don't know. I'm curious to see. Sorry, they don't really need to write her out. There's nothing to write out. She's not integral to the story. Like, no. I'm trying to think of a good example. And I know there was something recently that could. Oh, it's like the Cyborg in the Flash. Like, apparently Cyborg was an integral part of that story, and now they need to physically write the character out of that story. I mean, I feel like Cara Dune's not important enough to where taking her out would change the story that much. Like, if you remove her from season 2 of Mando, are you really missing a lot? Not really. You could easily just have had them go to the Imperial base without her and rescue Grogu without her. She wasn't that integral to the plot anyway.
I mean, her gun got jammed in the middle of the fight. I mean, she kind of fucked up there. Yeah. So wasn't that necessary? So some people are saying that the casual comparisons to Nazi Germany are dumb and overused, but they're not anti-Semitic. I think that's fair, but I also think it, like they said, is dumb and overused. Her comparison was just a big hyperbole. She was really exaggerating for no good reason, it seems.
Yeah. When in doubt, you should probably not be making comparisons to the Holocaust.
just a good part of history to not talk about lightly,
Yeah. If you're going to talk about the Holocaust, it's something that's very serious.
Yeah. I mean, there's not that many survivors today. I mean, when I was in middle school, there was opportunities to go talk to like one of the last survivors. Yeah. So it's crazy. Yeah, she'll be written out. And what do you think about the show? Her with Bo-Katan? Was that something you were really looking forward to at all?
Oh no! Even when we were talking about it, I was never keen on the idea of Cara Dune getting her own show. I like the character. I think she was a good supporting character. I just wasn't interested in her getting her own show. And it appears that was going to be the case. She was going to get her own show, but that's what happens when you go on Twitter.
When you piss people off and do it long enough like she did. That's sad because it's such a big career opportunity. She could have done so much with that role.
Yeah,
and
it's unfortunate.
It's so much money. I compare it to the Ray Park thing. Like the day they announce that he is getting multiple projects, multiple series, he puts out that stuff that gets him canceled within an instant. Like he's like, you know what? Good for me. Let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
Someone's probably gonna make a fan edit of her not being in any of the Mandalorian scenes. They're gonna title like The Mandalorian without transphobia and take her out just to be petty, kind of like people did with Jar Jar and the Phantom Menace.
I wouldn't be surprised. It would be a little harder, but who's driving the speeder in the 4th episode? But
the Force, Baby Grogu.
Yes, even though he was on the Razor Crest with Mando.
Goldman, you don't respect the Force, all right?
Clearly, I'm a Last Jedi fan. I don't respect the Force. You're right.
Yeah, no, you don't. You understand? Grogu has a dyad in the Force. I know who it is. God help us, whoever it could be. Imagine how much she knows about like the future of the series. And
she'll spill it.
You remember after episode 9 released, we got so many details about Con Trevorrow's Duel of the Fates, and we were all like, "Bro, we got the script, like the entire script." Then we got the concept art. So we all kind of thought it was Con Trevorrow just leaking this stuff. Imagine if we learn in the next like few months or even year everything about season 3 of The Mandalorian and like what's going to happen, where she's just like, "Oh, by the way, Grogu dies at the temple." Like, just spoils everything.
I wonder. I'm not even sure the actors would know that much. I mean, didn't Jon Favreau say he didn't even have like Luke planned out when he made like the first season? Like that was
probably. I know someone like Giancarlo Esposito knows what's happening in seasons 3 and 4, and so does Pedro Pascal. He knows what's the future, but how much Gina would know, it's probably only pertain to her character.
Yeah,
that's extent of her knowledge.
And I'm sure that she signed some very serious NDAs. That if she broke, she would be in deep legal trouble.
Well, she didn't break it. She went through Reddit, and she's Doomcock's source. Yeah, she's the one who's been talking about the Civil War over there. That's what Doomcock's going to come out with so many inside scoops. He's like, "I have just confirmed with my source that Jon Favreau is threatening to leave Lucasfilm if they do not bring back Gina Carano. Dave Filoni threw a chair at Kathleen Kennedy and said, "You dumb bitch! How did you let go of that hot woman?
Dumb
She could
bitch,
kick my
man.
ass if she wanted to."
God, Jesus. That made me cringe thinking about those reports. That's probably gonna happen. And you think Gina Carano is gonna be like the face of all those like the Mike Zero videos that's gonna come out like a year from now? Possible return for Gina Carano.
George Lucas brings Gina Carano back. I'm calling it right now.
Kathleen Kennedy challenges, or no, Gina Carano challenges Kathleen Kennedy to an MMA fight.
Yeah. Winner retires, or no, winner stays, loser retires. Winner gets to be a Lucasfilm president past 2021. Jeez,
crazy situation. Yeah, you've been doing this for like 2 hours now, right?
I know, dude. The views have been crazy. I've just been keeping it going.
I don't blame you.
You were defending the dog piling culture, cancel culture, and SJW weirdos culture for firing Gina because she said something that makes sense? Question mark. I mean, I agree with a lot of what she said in terms of not being bullied by people and the lockdown's not overly working so well. I mean, look at California. But I think that even if I do agree with her and I don't agree with her being fired, Lucasfilm and Disney have every right to not sign her on for season 3. If she's a liability and she's a PR risk, why risk it with your biggest show right now on Disney Plus? Like the biggest star is Pedro Pascal right now in The Mandalorian. Why would you want to mess with that for someone like Gina?
And I think people assume that it was a collection of all of her opinions that got her fired. I don't think so. I don't think her mass comments got her fired. I really think it was probably the pronouns things and this Instagram post. That was the big thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely seems like it because they wanted to do it for 2 months, just needed one more thing to push them over, and this was it. Angry YouTubers. Yeah, we're gonna make a lot of videos and money off of it.
I will not be making a single video about this.
I commend you so much. Hey, look what's trending over here. Trending with James Gunn. It's cancel Disney Plus and then the fire Gina Carano. And of course our boy Hello Greedo. Not fucking Hello Greedo. I'm retarded.
Drunk 3PO.
Yeah, Drunk 3PO J is canceling Disney Plus. 1,000 likes, 3K likes from this is a official blue check mark. 1.1 million. Who's this guy? This a guy? Jack something. Whiter than rice.
No clue.
Christian China analyst, veteran. Oh, okay, well, respect.
I feel like it won't matter. It's not going to make a big dent in Lucasfilm's revenue for the year.
Oh, especially
with all the Marvel stuff going on.
Oh, dude, Marvel's killing it. I've heard WandaVision's almost where Mandalorian's at. Dave Rubin, he's.
I would not go there, but
yeah, I know that big reveal. People were like, it's like Luke Skywalker. I'm like, no, it's not. But Dave Rubin is a left wing guy who is kind of called center now because he's leaned towards the right. He says Disney has canceled Gina Carano, so I'm canceling my Disney Plus. We need to stop giving these people our money, and we must build new franchises. Gina, if you'd like to come on the show to discuss anything, let me know. I imagine she would. Feel like she's going to be taking a lot of interviews.
Mm-hmm. And I commend these people. If you want to cancel your membership, you speak with your wallet. You do you. That's how you. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest way to hurt the company. But I recommend that if you really want to hurt Disney, you shouldn't watch it.
I agree. I'm a big fan of vote with your wallet. Like if people didn't want to go support what was it called, Solo Star Wars Story because of Lando coming out being a pansexual, all the kind of hoopla about that, and just weird drama that was going on with that one, and people being mad about The Last Jedi. I was like, okay, hey, if you're upset with them, vote with your wallet, and then don't go see it. And look what happened. They lost $50 million in the box office. So if you're really upset about Gina Carano not being the Mandalorian, you're going to protest until she comes back. Fine, don't watch season 3. And how much you want to bet every single person is going to watch season 3 eventually?
Oh, of course. It's not something like with The Rise of Skywalker. With The Last Jedi, a lot of people hated it, but there just wasn't that much interest in The Rise of Skywalker for a lot of people. Again, this is someone who's a sequel fan. It's obvious that the hype for The Rise of Skywalker was nowhere near the hype for Last Jedi. But with Mando season 2, Mando season 2 ended up on like one of the biggest high notes of Star Wars ever. Like no one hated it, or like 99.9% of people loved that ending, and people cannot wait for Mando season 3. So yeah, it's not gonna speak with your wallets. I doubt it'll make that much of a difference.
I mean, yeah, they're growing at such a big rate right now, and with multiple Star Wars shows coming up in the future, multiple spinoffs from The Mandalorian. I wonder if Bo-Katan is going to get her own series now, and it's only Bo-Katan.
I don't know. I wouldn't be down. I like Katie Sackhoff.
Me too. I don't know if it's a powerful enough character to carry her own series, but maybe if she becomes the ruler of Mandalore and Din Djarin goes his own way with Grogu or something.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah. All right. Anybody who's watching, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't have anything more to say.
No, I was just going to say I'll probably wrap the stream up in about 5 minutes because I don't think I've ever done 2 hours or more. But if you guys have any more pressing questions for me and Goldman, go ahead and ask them so we can get to them before we wrap the stream up. It was a big conversation. This is big news. Big news.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad we didn't have to discuss it though during a Chatoween.
Oh, dude, we would have been here all day. Yeah,
covers the whole episode.
Yeah, I would have been fine with it, but maybe we can have a special live, a special like Chatooine reboot episode or something like that, like a pre-season 2 with Lunga and talk about this. But it's
I wonder what Lunga's take would be.
Yeah, I'm curious to what he would say. I feel like he would kind of agree with both of us in the sense that he's like, hey, she brought on herself, and I feel like he would have a lot more insight into the anti-Semitism that may have been there.
Yeah,
which he said.
It's begun the culture wars, or continue the culture wars. Will. Wah.
Yeah, it's going to go on for a while. I remember I was thinking that like all the hate towards Star Wars was kind of going to die out because of all these new shows and all this great content that was coming out. The High Republic was like, it was kind of hard to hate on that and call that SJW nonsense. And the new shows sounded great and everything was looking good. And then this happened.
In a sense, she's probably going to be the next Brie Larson. Instead of everyone making videos hating her, everyone's going to make videos standing by Gina Carano now for like the next year. Well, the Phantom Menace found what their talking points are going to be for the next month. So, yeah.
I still think it's crazy how that narrative switched from her being a enemy of them for being Mary Sue SJW, just for being a woman who can kick ass in The Mandalorian, to now that's going to be their hero for a while.
It's funny, isn't it? Hypocrisy at its finest.
Yep, on all sides. I think some people who want her canceled now were happy for her being in The Mandalorian because she was a strong woman, and they thought it may have, been a good diversity thing, which it was. But some people may have wanted to use that to stick it in the Phantom Menace face, and how the turntables, if you will.
I say that all the time. Lesson learned: do not go on Twitter.
No, yeah, don't mess with the SJWs, the alt-right, or anybody on Twitter because it's never going to end well. Star Wars fandom had the chance to heal, but now I don't know if it was healing much, but it was getting better for sure. And this
definitely.
It was kind of like we were sewing things up, and then we just made it a little bit worse. So the cut's not only deeper, but all the stitches are gone as well.
Yeah, it's will be an interesting next few days. I will not be making a video on it. It's just not what I do.
So go check Wilder's channel out if you haven't, because he won't be making a video on it. But you also reached 4K subscribers recently.
I did. I think I'm at like 4.4 now. Almost there. I've had some decent growth recently. Thank you.
I'm happy for you. It's good. Book of Boba Fett. I don't know. Yeah, don't think that's going to change anything for the future of Book of Boba Fett. Mandalorian season 3 is going to be a little odd without her, but other than that, I think Star Wars will be okay. Other than the culture war. Any last thoughts on this issue?
I wouldn't have fired Gina Carano, but I understand where Lucasfilm is coming from.
Me too. She's made no replies, no tweets, anything for a while now. So maybe we'll get official comment from her this week, but maybe she'll just move on, and we'll see what happens. But thank you for coming on, Goldman. If you guys haven't checked his channel out, I'm gonna leave a link in the description to his channel. Make sure you guys get him to a 5K. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, Discord, or Instagram, those are all in my description as well. So thank you all for joining us. I'll make a video about this tomorrow. So see you all next time, and may the force be with you always.